This movie will be hated by the left.
One of the themes of the movie is government overreach, government power.
Persecuted is about an evangelist of current day time in 2014 who comes under attack for not wanting to sign off on a piece of legislation about freedom of religion.
And there are some bad things that happen to the main character in this movie. And the President of the United States, that is myself, is, although I have always left room for plausible deniability, I'm kind of behind directing these bad things.
My role is Daniel Lusko, and I play the journalist who interviews the main character of the movie right at the beginning. So don't come to the movie late, because otherwise you miss this central interview that really lays out who the main character, John Luther, is in the movie.
Well, I play Ryan Morris, and I'm the right-hand man of John Luther, who is this world-famous evangelist. And it's a film that is very unique when it comes to faith films, for sure.
You know, Persecuted, it's interesting from my background as an attorney, but I got to play a small part in the movie, but also help with the promotion of it, is about what could happen here in the United States with issues involving speech regulation and the freedom of speech, something that we all care so deeply about.
I think this movie, Persecuted, is so significant to the times in which we're living right now, because I work in the news business, and on a daily basis almost, we're discussing issues about freedom of religion and freedom of speech. And it seems within the United States of America, there are often stories about Christians even feeling persecuted in a country where 75 to 80% of the people believe in Christianity. Many people would believe that that could not happen here.
Liberty doesn't mean anything until you don't have it. Freedom doesn't mean really a lot until you don't have freedom. Religious liberties are taken for granted, and suddenly they're gone, and you go, what happened? And what happened was you were diligent.
Well, the movie shows part about the law and how these laws can be used that sound kind of mundane, that sound like they're fair, can be used to really silence one group. And you know, it takes the next step, of course, of showing like some retribution and a little bit different. But you know, I focus on the law at hand is not so outside the realm of what could be introduced to the United States and what's happening in Europe and places like the United Nations.
What I like about this movie is that it's a gentleman that fights that overreach and actually wins.
But the moment they put the gun to your head, the moment they say we're going to take your kids, the moment they say I'm afraid you're going to have to go to prison for this one because you're not allowed to say somebody's a sinner, then you're going to find out if you really believe this is true, because the problem is this country is filled with way too many churchgoers and not enough Christians.
I'm very pleased, actually, with the way this movie is done. The cinematography is excellent. The musical score is excellent in the movie, and the acting is really quite good. You know, several people that are in this were up for Academy Awards in the past.
Most Americans are going to relate to this movie because I think almost every American has at some point in their life wondered whether or not freedom of speech or freedom of religion would be something that would be threatened in our society. They need to see this movie to understand that this in fact could happen. I think sometimes we live our lives on a daily basis and don't think that much about what's happening on Capitol Hill, and we just take our freedoms for granted. And I think when people see this movie, they're going to think to themselves, wow, if it could happen to him, maybe it could happen to me.